Hi everyone, we are from Group 5 would like to discuss about education, science, and technology. Our members are Hanifa, Maria, Dava, Bayu, Nur Amara, and Nurizal Alkindi. So, let's go into it. Here is the outline of the video. The first, we will talk about the main concept of education, science, and technology. Then we will discuss about the example case in Indonesia. And the last is how we see education from one specific perspective. Let's move into the first one, which is the main concept. First thing first, we will talk about the definition of each of the term. The first is education. Education is the process of facilitating learning or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, morals, belief, and habits. Educational methods include teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, and direct research. Then science. Science is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. And the last is technology. Technology, the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life, or as it is sometimes phrased, to the change and manipulation of the human environment. Then, how important science and technology for education is. The evolution of technology has impacted every aspect of our life, from banking to the way we communicate with each other. In fact, technology has become an integral part of sustaining society, and its infusion with education is therefore inevitable. Technology not only provides students with access to countless online resources, but also aids them in the learning process. Technology also encouraging them to carry out research and therefore become more independent. It also simplifies learning by making concepts more digestible, for example, through an instructional video. It is important to recognize that there are various learning styles and traditional education may not be catering to them all. Then, let's talk about the definition based on some perspective. From functionalist perspective, educational institutions involved in preparing people to fit into society and make productive contributions. For example, schools also train people in specific skills, such as how to be a doctor, a carpenter, or a computer programmer. Education thus functions as a mechanism for placing people in various positions in society. From conflict perspective, the conflict perspective is based on the idea that society consists of different groups that struggles with one another to attain the shared societal resources that are considered valuable. While from interactionist perspective, this perspective focuses on the social interaction between teacher and students in the classroom and recognizes that social expectation and social meanings are a part of that interactions play a powerful role in what students learn and accomplish in schools as well as how they feel about themselves. And the next part will be explained by Maria.
Let's talk more specific about what is the impact of science and technology to Indonesia's education. President Jokowi Dodo, better known as President Jokowi, has repeatedly stressed the need for the country to overhaul its education system in order to prepare the future workforce to compete in an information technology creativity-driven global marketplace. Within these 2 points, the impact is real. Indonesia has grown so much better in educational learning platform and in improving teachers' quality. And high quality teaching and professional accountability will be necessary for programs, proposals, and initiatives implemented across Indonesia's education system to be successful. For instance, launch Ruang Guru, an educational technology platform that provides interactive, personalized learning program and examinations preparation support. And total Ruang Guru caters for approximately 15 million students and 300 teachers over 100 subjects. Due to the high number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Indonesia, remote learning and online classes seem to be the most appropriate solutions to provide students with education materials. The growth of education and technology as a part of industrialization, specifically in pandemic era, it can be classified into several categories in which the Indonesian education technology sector can be split, namely marketplace, online class platform, and school management system. And for the marketplace reported from the World Bank, educational technology firms in Indonesia offer a wide variety of products and services targeting different uses including parents, educators, students, educational institutions, management, and corporation. Furthermore, the Ministry of Education and Culture has announced that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the national examinations is cancelled and are now shifting towards online platforms to help the learning process. And for the second, online class platforms are becoming more relevant to Indonesian students these days, with the COVID-19 pandemic causing the school to close. It has also driven increased interest in online programs offered by the educational providers. Not only that, the existence of these online classes helps students to continue their educations at home, but also offers services for teachers and parents to help manage the online learning transition. And for the third, the growing technology trend in Indonesia demands schools to always innovate, including the school management system.
Any concepts that are difficult to understand? The answer is there is no. Since we didn't find any difficulties in understanding the concepts, let's do a case study. Education, science, and technology is an infinity loop relationship. When the education level or quality is getting better, science and technology will also be more advanced. Respectively, when there is an advancement in terms of science and technology, the education level will also improve by having better facility. We also found from the first reference, which is the Sullivan book, that science and technology are also part of a promise for a better future to overcome poverty. However, in the second reference, we also found that the poverty is in fact going to more widespread and depth with the liberalization or globalization process, where the liberalization or globalization process is a result of technological advancement. The question is, why? Why in the end technology unexpectedly increased the level of poverty while ideally it should help the humans to overcome poverty? When we learn deeper into the journal, we found that technological advancement increased the amount of unemployment. Therefore, is it the fault of technology that the level of poverty increased? The answer is no. Why? Because technology helps humans to get a better life quality, education quality, health quality, and etc. that ideally should overcome the problem of poverty. So, whose fault is this? The answer is it is the fault of the human resources. Based on the third reference, we found that technological change or advancement does not have to increase the overall unemployment. However, technological change plays an important role in the change of job types and employee qualifications. And most of the countries where the number of employment increased along with the technological advancement, their people or human resources are not ready to keep up with the technological change. Another question, why the human resources are not ready while the technology already advanced? We can gain all information and knowledge by only digging into the internet. Back again to the main problem, it is the human problem. We will focus this problem to cases in Indonesia. In Indonesia, most of the people are still having small interest or eagerness to learn or read. Based on a survey done by Program for International Student Assessment (PISA), Indonesia's literacy level is ranked at 62 out of 70 countries. From this study, we learned that most of the people in Indonesia did not learn not because they cannot, but because they don't want it. Of course, there are still some cases where the people do not have the access to education or others. But other than that, it is because they have small interest to learn. There are two possible solutions that we propose. The first is social aids. Of course, the government should provide social aids to the citizens such as educational support, health support, skills training support, and etc. so they can have a better life quality. The second solution is habit modification program. This is a program controlled by the government that focuses in performing a research to change the habit of Indonesian citizens to have a better literacy level. The result might be applicable to Indonesia education curriculum or etc. We propose habit modification program as a solution because we found that in a book titled The Power of Habit, it is stated that there is nothing we cannot do as long as we understand how to do the right related habit, and we can change the habit if we know how it works.
Now we are going to talk about the case problem in Indonesia, which is about education system problem during pandemic. As we know that the online learning process started on March 2020 after the spread of COVID is endemic in Indonesia. Therefore, the letter from Ministry of Education and Culture No. 40, year 2020 was released to prevent the distribution of the virus by conducting online learning process through certain technology or media, such as WhatsApp, Google Meet, Google Form, etc. The purpose of this letter is to make sure that the students will conducting online process learning in the house and prevent the high distribution of COVID-19 during the learning process or even outside the learning process. However, the implementation of learning process cannot be effective as offline learning process because some lack of or inadequate infrastructure and socialization. The survey conducted by SMRC on 5 until 8 August 2020 shows that 60% of the community was burdened by the cost incurred in online learning process. As many as 87% of the respondents said that they did online learning, but the others are not studying during the pandemic. Then, 92% felt that there are a lot of problems with the online learning, says Tati, Public Policy Manager of SMRC, in an online discussion in Jakarta. After these analyses, it found that the main problem of the online learning process are the internet access that might be hard for some people outside the city, inadequate gadget or facilities such as phone or laptop, high quota fees per month, and the lack of socialization for both the teacher and the student. Therefore, the process cannot meet the goals for both student and teacher that expected by the government. According to the data box, students has problem on having guidance from the parents, internet access, gadget facilities, and difficulty on accessing the platform. Besides that, the teacher itself also faces certain problems, such as inadequate knowledge on using technology, time time for learning that sometimes can be less or more than it should be because of some problem or business during the learning process. And for the elementary school, teacher got problem on contacting the parent as the guidance for their children in the house. And lastly, most of the teachers are focused on the completing the curriculum as the standard instead of make sure that students understand the material well. However, nowadays this problem solely can be solved using some facilities that government provides to them, such as quota, subsidy for both teacher and the student.
So, to give a comment about this topic using one perspective that mostly used in social problems analyzing, we choose to use functionalist perspective to see through this one problem. And in the perspective of functionalists, educational institutions perform several important functions in preparing people to fit into society and make productive contributions. They train people in specific skills into various positions in society. From this perspective, we would like to give comments about how there are many students who confess that they have not figured out what they want to be in the future or what their interests are, as most parents are the ones that control their studies and path career. For this to function well, parents should give freedom for their children to choose what path they want to have so that they can do the work with the skill they are capable of and with the passion of their own. This can improve the performance of their work, and when the majority of people able to work according to their passion and capability, the economic and industry would function better.
Now we're gonna talk about science and technology social problem in functionalist perspective. So problems surrounding science and technology have to do with the socialist organization that result when some part of society do not adapt sufficiently fast to change that are occurring. So some of the socialist organization associated with technological change occurs because of the tendency of cultural lag, a gap between the point at which one part of the social system change and the point at which other parts adjust to compensate for that change. For example, some people who is positive COVID-19 in village do not trust with modern medication. Instead, they believe with traditional medication that has no proof can heal someone from COVID-19.